Is everything okay? There's your outtake for the show.
Episode 10. Don't spoil the ending. Whee!
Milestone.
Golf clap.
First milestone. Down. Well done. Well done, guys.
Double figures.
We'll see you next week. I'm Joe.
I'm Nick.
I'm Sam.
And hi, I'm John.
Have we done anything interesting this week? I mean, I've watched a couple of films, but...
Yeah, I've got a few bits and bobs we've been up to this week. First of all, me, Nick, Jono and Dom, who's been on the podcast before, we all went to watch Wonder Woman last night. Brand new film. We'll be talking about that later.
I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah.
Good.
Go into that in depth.
Yeah. How in depth? Are we giving spoilers away on this show?
You know what, I was thinking not spoilers,
I'm
but...
okay with no spoilers.
You okay with that?
Yeah.
I've got a few notes, but, doesn't relate to any spoilers or anything, so
Fine, yeah.
you okay with that? Good.
There's one thing I asked Nick before the show. Was there a end credit scene? And apparently not.
Yeah.
Well, we were actually sat in the cinema and everyone was still sat there and we were like, is there one? So we actually Googled it while we were sat there.
Yeah.
And they said we confirmed there's no after credit scene, so we just left, didn't we?
And the funny thing was, like, as we were leaving, after you'd found out there was no end credit scine, I looked around and everyone was doing the same. Everyone was sat there Googling, where's the end credit scene?
All right. Well, we'll jump on that in a bit. Have we had a good week though this week? It's been a very hot week in Warrington this week.
Yeah. Sun's been out.
I've been indoors a lot.
Sun is out, guns out.
Yeah. All right. Well, I watched a couple of films this week. Has anybody seen?
Sorry, don't mean to cut you off there, Joe. Just got a couple bit of housekeeping, if you don't mind.
Okay. Yeah. All
I
right.
want to mention, me and Nick have been doing a Twin Peaks spin-off podcast.
You have?
Releases every Wednesday, covering the episode that will release every Monday night. Going fully in depth with Twin Peaks Series 3 week by week. Just to let people know, if you want to get on it, it'll be out every Wednesday night on the main feed. But yeah, we'd love to hear some feedback. If you give it a listen, let us know what you think.
I've got some feedback for you.
Have you?
Yeah. Well, I edited the show.
Did you?
All right, I put the music on the end. I did notice at the end when you were giving out the social media links.
Oh, yeah.
You forgot to give the main show out, and Nick had to prompt you to give it out.
Yeah.
Are you already trying to jump ship?
It just slipped my mind. Totally. Just I was in the world of Twin Peaks, the Lynchian, atmosphere, and I just totally forgot about the main podcast.
I was going to say, it sounded very much like Nick went, "Are you going to give the main show podcast out?" And you were like, "Oh, yeah."
I was going to do it.
Well, you've had your haircut today as well, John.
Oh, yeah.
Looking pretty swift.
Yeah, gone for the full buzz cut.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Just wanted to bring that up
On the subject of feedback, I've actually got some feedback for you, John, from a show a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, go for it.
A listener has been listening, as they do.
Okay.
And on a couple of weeks ago, you said that La La Land. Well, you didn't say. You kind of implied that La La Land isn't a musical.
Yeah, I think I said it. Yeah.
Well, I think someone said it was a musical, and you went.
Yeah, kind of oohed and ahed about it a bit. Yeah.
A listener's messaged me, and he's told me it is definitely a musical.
Right, yeah. I'm still on the fence on this one. I'm still a bit swaying. I'll look into it. I'll get a bit more information to hand. But yeah, I'm still saying not a musical.
By all means.
Drama romance. I'm putting that under.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I watched Batman: The Killing Joke.
Oh, sorry, sorry to cut you off again, Joe.
All right, John. Do you want to just take over for
I
now?
just wanted to mention I've been a bit busy this week.
Is this more stuff you want to promote? More side
a bit
stuff?
more self-promotion. Nick's been busy doing a Facebook page for us. It's not officially released yet, but
I've been doing some art. If you've been to the Twitter, I've done
at the STE podcast.
That one. I've done a few little images for our top 5 comic book lists. For me, Joe, John, and Jono, and Josh. Yeah, they're on Twitter at the moment. I did another one, didn't I? Oh, the Twin Peaks one. I did that a few weeks ago. But like you say, I've been doing it for the Facebook one. We're starting to trying to do banners, and you've been drawing, haven't you?
Yeah, been doing a few like caricatures for the Facebook page.
Yeah.
Did a version of all you guys, but I don't know how they went down, to be honest.
Well, mine wasn't very accurate, but
Well, I disagree. I thought yours was the most accurate, to be honest. I nailed the quiff perfectly on that.
it looked like Where's Wally's like strange electro future cousin or something.
Can I just say, like, be lucky it weren't what he was saying he wanted. He wanted to draw you as a carrot.
It would have been good. It would have been good.
Yeah,
Based purely on the fact that you're a vegetarian.
I mean, John, when you were drawing yourself, you could just draw a giant penis. But yeah, I noticed you've based your drawing very closely of Sam, the picture of Sam you drew.
Yeah.
It looked very similar to Jeremy Corbyn.
Yeah, I think mine was very, very accurate. Like,
Yeah.
just because you totally ripped it off of Jeremy Corbyn.
No, just purely coincidental. I just went off one of your high school yearbook photos, and it turned out just like Corbyn. It was weird.
It's true.
Oh, did Sam have a beard in high school?
I think Sam was born with a beard.
You took a photo from when you were leading the Labour Party, Sam.
In high school.
In high school, yeah.
Yeah, so I just wanted to throw that out there. Just did a few caricatures. They might see the light of day yet on the Facebook page. Just like, the first ideas maybe or something. But
Yeah.
I just wanted to throw that out there.
I'm looking forward to launching the Facebook page.
Yeah.
Me too, yeah.
We'll let you know as soon as it's up. Yeah.
We'll at least start off with 5 likes.
At least.
5.
Well, maybe 4.
Yeah.
So can Joe talk about his films now, John?
Oh, just no,
Are you done promoting?
yeah, go for it.
Are you done talking about your haircut, John?
Definitely done. Go
All right.
for it, yeah.
Well, I watched Batman: The Killing Joke this week.
I've seen that.
Have you seen that? Nick?
Yeah.
It's a good film, I thought. Sort of.
I expected more, if I'm honest.
I definitely expected more. By good film, probably don't mean it. Like
It's not a bad film.
I know I'm already being a hypocrite here, but I like enjoyed it even though it was really terribly flawed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I watched The Mask of the Phantasm as well, the 1993, the animated one from '93.
That's like one of the most famous ones. That one of the most
Yeah.
revered of the animated
Is it
series.
the same director? They brought a director back for this one who did an old one, didn't they?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know about the animated
Oh, fair
directors.
Well, it's like in both of those and in the games. Do you know who plays the Joker in every single one?
Yeah, Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill has played the Joker for decades.
Yeah.
I think that's dead interesting.
It's become a bit of a kind of trendy thing to say nowadays, but people always said that he was the best version of the Joker. The way he voiced it and stuff.
There's no Heath Ledger.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Mark Hamill even said Heath Ledger's performance as the Joker was the best performance you could ever get out of the Joker.
Yeah, not Jared Leto.
No,
No.
that's enough. Well, we'll move on to that. In a minute.
We'll go into that, yeah.
But no, I enjoyed that. Do we know the story of the Killing Joke?
Yeah.
Well, I've only read the comic, so I haven't got a
Yeah.
clue. From what I've heard, the cartoon expands a lot on other elements of it, and from what I've heard, it's not great. What they
Definitely
expand on.
expands on certain things.
Whereas the comics are really streamlined, just a simple story. I believe it gets quite expanded in the cartoon.
All right. Well, Sam, you haven't seen it. I'll give you
I have
the
no idea what these last 3 minutes were on about.
I'll give you the rundown for the Killing Joke. But the idea is that Batgirl gets shot by the Joker, right?
Okay.
And he shoots her in the spine. She ends up paralyzed from the waist down. Well, paralyzed from the waist down.
Yeah.
He then strips her naked, takes loads of photos of her. There's the implication of a rape. That there's never came out as, but if you interpreted that, you could say, well, the Joker raped Batgirl, right? So it's already one of the most controversial sort of things.
Yeah.
And then I don't know about the comic, but in the film, he basically plasters all them in like a fun house, like a haunted house style thing, and sends Commissioner Gordon through it naked on a train, looking at all these pictures of his daughter who's just been paralyzed and she's naked, and he sees all that, and he on the film he's surrounded by dwarves in bondage gear. So it's a bit weird.
Sounds a bit like Twin Peaks.
Yeah, so like it's quite controversial for all that. The film brings other stuff, like there's a lot of controversy. Controversy. There's a controversy about the relationship of how they've changed Batman and Batgirl, because there's a sex scene in it between Batman and Batgirl.
That's definitely not in the comic.
No, I know. So that's not in the comic. That's in the film. So in the film, they have sex, and then Batman has a bit of a he's in a bit of a mood, and he's like, trying to ignore her and stuff. And she's like, "Oh, it was just sex, didn't mean anything." It's like this doesn't really belong in a Batman film.
When you said that he went in the mood, I just picture him on the end of the bed. Don't touch me.
But yeah, it's not like a graphic sex scene, but it's like it's an off camera. She takes they're on top of a building, takes her clothes off, and then pans away. It's like they obviously do it.
I mean, that is one thing I like with all the DC universe stuff, from the cartoons to the animated stuff to the films. It does at least feel a bit darker. You know, I can't imagine that in a Marvel film, or animated feature.
I like the. I don't know if I like the idea of that sort of thing being in there.
Yeah.
I don't know if that particularly hit,
but they just don't handle it very well.
Because it came off like they really sexualized Batgirl. Like it was probably a level above what was needed. I know it's a very recent 2016 film. Definitely sexualized it.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, she's just yeah.
Can I go out on a ledge, in a wing? What's the saying? Go out on a
Whim.
on a limb.
Whim.
Out on a limb.
Go out
Go on.
I'm going to go out on a limb and a whim. I think I'm 80% sure the comic, Alan Moore writes it. I can't confirm that though, but Alan Moore's the author of Watchmen. So I'm pretty sure he's the author of the comic. It's definitely a famous author. It's either him or like Frank Miller or something like that. But I should really have checked this beforehand.
If it was him, he's definitely into a sex scenes featuring costumed superheroes.
Yeah.
But yeah, one other point I was going to bring up about that film. There's a point where Batgirl starts ignoring Batman, and Batman literally says the words, "It must be the time of the month." It's like, what's that doing in here? Like, this is a bit funny. But at the end of the day, quite liked it. You get more of the Joker's backstory, you find out how he became the Joker. I think that's how they introduced it in the comics as well. I know there's been all sorts of different origins.
In the comic, they've never actually confirmed his origin. Like, it's just kind of...
I don't...
I'm lying. Yeah. In that, it is his origin.
Yeah, no, like, because you get his origin in that. But I was reading up on it, and apparently there's all sorts of different origins for loads of the characters. Yeah. There's an origin story where Martha, so Batman's mum, is the Joker. There's an alternate reality version of that in the comics. Where
they have like the Crisis on Infinite Earths plot lines, which are just mental, the 52 different universes or something like that. Yeah, it gets a bit weird. Can I just go into something on the comic thing that you might be interested in?
Yeah.
Talking to Heggie at work the other day about what they're doing with the new DC universe. And the Watchmen characters are now part of the continuity within DC.
Okay.
So like Dr. Manhattan is now like up against Batman and stuff like it.
What, in the actual comics?
In the current comic storyline.
Well, you can't beat Dr. Manhattan.
Well, it's a big like mystery going on at the moment. Basically, one of the Flash's spoilers for any comic fans out there. One of the Flash's villains, can't think which one it's called. It's like a backwards version of Flash or something. He gets killed.
Reverse Flash.
Yeah. No, it's got a name. It's like a proper name kind of thing.
You're not about like Captain Cold or whatever it is.
No, it's like yellow. He's got like a full name.
Reverse Flash.
Was it? It's got like a full name in the comic though. Like
Reverse Flash is
like
the yellow
Billy.
Flash.
Thompson or something that's what they call him by. But he gets killed in like Blue Flame, and everybody thinks that it's Dr. Manhattan who's done it. And they're trying to work out who's done it. And it's a big like mystery plot line at the moment. But I just thought you'd be interested, being
I would be,
a Watchmen fan. Yeah,
that's interesting.
Have a look into that. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll move on from that. I watched Suicide Squad as well, staying on the comic theme. That's it's better than I remember it at the cinema.
Really?
Is that again like with Batman?
It's a running
versus
theme,
Superman,
Nick. Yeah,
because you were drunk when you went to see it.
Yes, I had a drink. Yeah, I mean, it was better. It was still. It's not. This is the thing. It's not a good film, but it's not a bad film. It's all right.
I mean, I actually enjoyed the film, to be honest. Like, I think both times I went to see it the first time, and I've seen it since.
I think it is nonsense though.
I'm kind of more with Joe on this one. I don't mind it. I like it, but it feels a bit muddled, a bit messy,
A bit.
Just
completely incoherent. Like.
Some good elements to it, like the whole thing how they get choppered into the city. It feels to me like Predator, almost like a team being choppered in somewhere. It's a bit more hard hitting, like they have those weird black zombies that are running around like with a. That kind of thing. That's
I think my problem. The things I like about it is they've introduced a whole bunch of characters. Now I sort of looked at it thinking they've introduced all these because they needed to find the way to just slot all these DC characters into this new film universe they've got going on. But I think in most cases it sort of works, but it is a daft film. Like, I tried to defend Jared Leto as the Joker for a long time because I was like, just give it a chance. Jared Leto's dead good. He is a dead good actor. That Hot Topic Joker, it's got to be the worst interpretation of that.
With his metal grills and stuff. Sorry, gold grills. Does he have? Yeah.
I know that's the aesthetic they're going for in this new.
Yeah.
Like, it's just mad. I don't hate it, but you've kind of moved the Joker from a character that I really liked to just like he did I'm a fan of Skrillex, right? He did that music video with Rick Ross and Skrillex and Jared
Purple
Leto.
Lamborghini.
Yeah, Purple Lamborghini, which is a tune, quite like that. But it's literally the Joker driving around with Rick Ross and Skrillex.
Yeah.
It's like, this is the Joker. What's the Joker? Skrillex didn't even wear any like face paint or anything. He was just the little 5'4" guy, and just hanging about with the Joker.
Yeah.
Because Rick Ross, you could look at. Like, have anyone seen the video? Rick Ross, you could look at. Is this massive black guy? Like he's a scary guy. You could see him as one of the Joker's henchmen. Skrillex is like a little guy, and it's like, at least put some face paint on.
Yeah, I mean, on the Suicide Squad thing, I really like David Ayer, who directed it. He did Fury, which I think is amazing, and he did End of Watch, which I really like as well, like a found footage police movie. Have you guys seen that at all? No. But he also did Sabotage, which is this big like squad movie with Schwarzenegger, which is garbage. And I can't believe out of those three films, he chose Sabotage as the one to almost like emulate with Suicide Squad. It's such a weird feeling to it, you know, to do that. But
Yeah.
if you look at the first trailer from, I think it was Comic-Con in 2015, the first one they launched for that film, it's really dark and moody. There's no colour to it at all. And I just feel that film went through so much studio interference.
That was due to Deadpool, wasn't it?
A lot, yeah, and some of the other Marvel films being like
of the
neon
success-
coloured and stuff.
Because of the success of Deadpool, they basically reshot the whole film.
Yeah,
didn't they?
because they felt it wasn't fun enough. So I think it might have been a lot different originally, but after that they went back and put a lot of colour everywhere, loads of colour correction.
A bit of colour. Like, Have you seen the Blu-ray cover for it? Yeah. It's just literally got every single
Neon
colour
green
on
and
it.
purple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about Harleen Quinzel though?
See, I quite like this new Harley Quinn, to be honest. I mean, they've got the right actress.
Margot Robbie. Ooh. Love a bit of Margot Robbie.
I like the moment where they give all the stuff back and she looks in her sort of suitcase of stuff and it's like her old outfit.
Oh,
From
the little
yeah.
jester outfit.
Yeah,
I
from
thought
the
that-
old animated series and the comics.
And the big mallet she has in there.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
But I don't think that would have fit in with this new weird little universe they're making up, which Wonder Woman makes a part of that we'll go into. But
Yeah.
it's this new aesthetic they're pushing for DC stuff. So I think the new Harley Quinn does fit with that. And I quite like it. It is a bit daft when you see them all walking around and she's just walking around in hot pants.
Yeah, but she's fit.
Yeah, but she's fit.
Yeah, I don't mind her walking around in hot pants whatsoever.
I've got to admit, I mean, I do like Margot Robbie. There's a couple of bits where I think her Australian accent comes through really badly that you can tell. There's one bit where like she's shooting someone on the floor and they're like, oh, stop doing that. And it's like, what? It moved! There's a really bad Aussie accent, but I'm more of a fan of Enchantress in that film.
Come on,
What's her name, the actress?
Cara
Johnson?
Delavagine.
Yeah, her.
What's
yeah.
her name? It's the model.
The model, yeah.
She can't act. She's a model.
I think she's great in that film.
No,
yeah,
it's
when she's
terrible.
swaying her hips about, I love all that. Yeah, when she's dressed up in the...
I love how she sways her hips.
I love all that.
No,
When
terrible.
she's dressed up in the officer tie with her hair back and the glasses on. Yeah, love that.
Classic.
Great performance.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Like Sam, have you not seen that? Have you?
I've not.
Were you not there that night, though? The
That was drunk you were, John.
that incident.
Yeah. I. It's not a bad film, but for you,
You're not selling it to me anyway.
No, I mean it's fun, but it's shit.
Can I ask, what would you rate it out of 5?
I don't know. I can't remember what I would have rated it at the time, but of watching it recently, I'd probably give it like a 2.5.
Yeah, I gave it a 3, and I think I'm being generous with.
I think that's
so,
yeah. I think a 3 is generous on that.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, I do like it.
I bought it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I bought it on
it,
4K.
like,
Yeah,
what's wrong with us? I bought that with we were buying a present for somebody, and we were buying them Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, and I felt really bad actually spending money on that shit film. And
I thought you liked it the other week.
yeah, but this is it though. Like Suicide Squad and Batman v Superman, I think are just they're shit films, but I enjoyed watching them to some extent. Like they're both average, not shit, average.
I think Wonder Woman will make you look back on BVS in a different light afterwards. Okay. Not to think it's a 5-star film, but I think you'll be more kind towards it after watching that.
We'll come on to that because I've got a few questions about Wonder Woman in a bit.
Yeah.
But should we move on from Suicide Squad? Have we done much else this week?
I mean, I've played a game.
What game have you played?
I've played a game. I don't know if you've heard of it. Ark Evolution Survival or Survival Evolution.
Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know which way around it is?
Ark Survival Evolved, is it?
Something like that, anyway. I talked about a game called 7 Days to Die a couple of weeks ago on the show.
I'm still down to play that at some point as well.
Which is like a kind of Minecraft-esque where like you create stuff and like you basically fight zombies. This one, it's the same kind of thing where like you're creating stuff and you're chopping wood and all that jazz. But like you start in like a prehistoric world where like you might have seen the trailers, to be honest, because like you start in this prehistoric world with like dinosaurs and stuff, and like you do evolve, and I think like the dinosaurs eventually turn into like robotic dinosaurs and stuff. I played it for about half an hour, if I'm honest with you, so I can't really talk about it in much depth, but like it seemed quite fun for what I played.
Sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good.
I do want to try that out. I've got it on the Xbox One. It came out free probably like 2 years ago now, I think, when it first launched. It was like one of their indie games that you can try out for like 10 hours or something. But I've never played it. I've got it there downloaded and never played it. So
It's worth giving it a try, like.
Yeah, I'll definitely get on it at some point. Yep.
I've played some games this week. If nobody else has.
Yeah, I've got a few games. Got a couple of. I've got a movie. Got a TV show.
Movie?
Yeah.
Right. Do you want to give us your movie?
For the movie, I rewatched Alien Covenant at the cinema. I know I spoke about this the other week. Not got a load to say about it, other than I did enjoy it a lot more on a rewatch. Gave it 4 stars the other week. And yeah, I enjoyed it a lot more on a rewatch. All the worst stuff in the film for me is still the alien stuff. It just feels like they're treading over old ground. Just saying, like, here's a facehugger, here's an alien. You know these from the old films. You know that's your lot kind of thing.
Yeah.
Anything with David in it, Michael Fassbender, is even better on a second watch.
There's
so many little bits I picked up that like I didn't get on the first watch.
Isn't David becoming as important as Ripley in the Alien sort of universe?
He is. I mean, can I drop a bit of a spoiler here? Because it's one scene that I love in the film. Like,
go for it.
You pretty much, just warning, spoilers, jump a minute ahead if you don't want to hear this. You pretty much know, you probably know this is going in anyway, but David ends up creating the xenomorph, which is the classic alien. And that scene, when I first watched it, I thought it was a bit goofy, but watching it this time, I just loved it. He looked so happy to have done it, like in the film. Got a big smile on his face. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, I like the idea that he's had that impact.
Yeah, like the alien pops out, and the alien's like, he's like mimicking its movement, and just going, whoa, waving its arms about. And first time I watched it, I thought, that's a bit goofy. But watching it now, he's just so chuffed to have done it. I love it. He's so happy to have done it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just a couple of lines that he drops in the film that I didn't get on first watch. Basically, the Covenant is like a colonization ship. It's filled with like 2,000 colonists going to a new home world. And when he realizes that's what it is, he's so happy to realize that, you know, what the Covenant is. And again, that all comes to the context in the film, but why you're so happy kind of thing. But yeah, I loved it.
Doesn't it add, like, I haven't seen Covenant, but does not add like more relevance to Prometheus? I've heard that. I've heard it gives it a bit more context. And
if anything, this might be a bit of a spoiler again, but it has been out a few weeks. I have dropped a bit of a warning, so
you gave people a warning saying skip ahead a minute if you don't want any spoilers.
Yeah, if you've skipped ahead a minute,
2 minutes ago.
Now skip ahead another minute. All it is, it does to Prometheus what Alien 3 does to Aliens, which fans aren't very happy with, kind of thing. It kind of truncates a lot of the last film. Again, you can't really tell you anything anymore without big spoilers, but I'm not too happy about that. That's the biggest issue with the film. They wanted to do Prometheus 2, but it felt like they were getting like interference to put the alien in there, which is not what they wanted to do. So it becomes an Alien film rather than Prometheus 2. Does that make sense at all, having not seen the film? Is that okay? Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest issue for me. If they'd have done Prometheus 2, it'd have been a 5 out of 5 for me, I think. As it is, 4.5 out of 5. I love it.
Can I just double check? You're giving out a 5 out of 5 rating on a film that's not been made.
Yeah, Prometheus 2, 5 out of 5.
I mean, I know we've rated trailers in the past.
Yeah, I'm now hypothetically reviewing films.
Oh, guys, what do you think of Spider-Man 4? 5 out of 5.
But yeah, loved it. 4.5 out of 5.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yep. Is everything okay? There's your outtake for the show.
I want to talk about Tekken. Tekken 7, to be more precise.
Yeah, you've mentioned it a few times in the past. You've been waiting for this, haven't you, for weeks?
This is do you know, everybody probably has the sort of foundations or the pillars of what their favourite gaming franchises are.
Yeah.
Tekken is one of mine. So I've been looking forward to this game for 2 years since they had the arcade version out in Japan.
Yeah.
So what this game is, it's the second release of Tekken 7 in the arcades, but for consoles. So this is the first time it's coming out on consoles.
Yeah.
It's really good. Love it. It's got a bit of an odd story in it, which I quite like, even though it's a bit Japanesey, weirdy, sort of what you would expect. But there's some dead cool stuff in that game. So yeah, John, have you played it yet? I know you've bought it.
Yeah, got it last night, only for about an hour or so.
Yeah.
The only thing I played was practice mode because I couldn't play anything else really. Because
It was installing.
I had to wait for it to install.
Only takes 20 minutes.
Hours it took. And then I played Treasure Battle, is that right?
Yeah.
I played that for like the remainder of the time.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed it, yeah.
I love it. It's what a Tekken game should be. It's good game mechanics, good characters, good character design. All
Yeah,
that.
really technical. I looked into some of the move lists. I started off with Elisa.
The robot, the android.
The android, yep. She's got 171 different moves.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things about Tekken though.
Yeah.
It's like you don't have that in Street Fighter. You don't have that in King of Fighters. Like the Tekken move list is really in depth.
Although my counterpoint to that is that Street Fighter definitely has fewer moves, but I feel like they're more memorable and easier to pull off. And you know what I mean? A bit more substantial almost.
Yeah. You're looking for an easier game, John?
Oh, it's not easier. It's more hardcore. I'd put Tekken as the easy one because anyone can pull those moves off. You know, just like down towards X, up, right.
Or you just button bash and one of the 170 moves are going to come out.
Tekken is a lot easier to button bash, I think, than Street Fighter. But do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah,
trying to pull off like a fireball is a bit more technical than just like a downward swipe or something.
Yeah, I see your point.
But I was loving it though.
No, I really love it. Well, not all the characters are in it.
There's a lot on there though.
There's a lot of characters, but I'm talking Tekken Tag 2 and stuff where, although it was non-canon, it had the most characters in it. And I don't want just content characters, but...
Oh, well, on that though, I've got a Tekken Tag Tournament 2, is that what it's called? I've got that on the Xbox Game Pass, which is free at the moment for gold members. So I've got that, and I've got that downloaded to play. So
yeah, I love that.
I've never played it.
It's really good.
Yeah.
It's what I really found interesting about Tekken 7. They've included all the ending movies and all the sort of intro movies from every previous Tekken game as content on the disc. So you can go into theatre mode. And if I wanted to go watch King's Ending from Tekken 3, I just have to go spend me fight money on it. You earn fight money from like winning battles. And it's just dead cool because that proper ticked all my nostalgia boxes off. I was like, oh, wow, look at all this.
Yeah.
It's when you choose what background music you want, you can choose Tekken 7's like sort of music for the game, or you can select any of the other previous Tekken games' music. So it's got all the music and all the video from all the previous Tekkens. It's like this is all encompassed in the game.
I do really like that. It feels complete, you know, as I imagine you're a completist with Tekken.
Yeah.
You've got it all in the one game.
Yeah.
I hate it when like Mortal Kombat 9 felt quite complete. It had like every fighter available in that game. Mortal Kombat X stripped it back a bit and went for like 16 fighters. So a lot of people were missing out on that one. I can understand why they did it. They wanted to make it more concentrated on that game. But it's nice just to have everything in there, you know, from every previous game kind of thing.
If they had every character in Tekken 7, this would be the most complete Tekken you could buy.
How many are missing, do you think?
I don't know. There's just a few obvious ones, like Craig Marduk isn't in it. He's like the MMA fighter. He's like King's rival friend thing, so he's not in it. or at least he's not in it up to the point I've seen. He's probably going to be DLC. I've bought the season pass, so I'll get whatever new characters come into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm loving it. It's really good. It feels like a real Tekken. Like, you know, you said I'm a completist. I platinum Tekken 6 in a week. So Tekken 7, I'm already a quarter of the way there, and I've had it a night.
Yeah.
But it's great. Love it.
I noticed last night I played for like an hour and I got about 4 trophies. I was like, oh, I'm loving this.
You are a trophy hunter. But yeah, Tekken. Like I recommend it, Nick and Sam.
Cool.
Worth a buy.
We'll have to give the online mode a go at some point, definitely.
Yeah, I wanted to do it last night, but you ran away.
It wouldn't install, Joe. It wouldn't install. It took ages to install.
I went against my mate last night and just battered him. So I'm looking forward to our match.
I've got to admit, when I was playing, I was thinking, there's no way Joe's beating me. Like, I was amazing in that treasure battle mode.
Let's put your money where your mouth is.
Have you played with Elisa at all?
Yeah.
She's got this cool, like, whirring blades for arms that she can, like, use and stuff.
Yeah.
I
It's
was
down, square, and triangle, and she busts out her chainsaw arms. And then
you can do a whole different moveset with them as well.
I've seen all the combos where she takes her head off and hands it to the other character.
There was one I was doing last night where she takes her head off and kicks it at the other player and it blows up.
Yeah, it's great.
I was loving that.
It's really good. Really good.
And just one final thing, you mentioned story mode.
Yeah.
I've noticed you started that last night.
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
Like I said, it's very anime, very Japanese, like strange. What I've always liked about Tekken is that there's no compromise on this character should speak in English because it's like in the English version. The characters who are Japanese speak Japanese. The characters who are English speak in English. Yeah. But there's a scene in like chapter 3 where they're in Italy and there's an Italian guy speaking in Italian, an English person speaking in English, and they're, well, not in English, but they're speaking English, and then a Japanese Heihachi who's speaking in Japanese, and all 3 of them can understand each other, even though they're speaking 3 completely different languages, which I think is great.
Yeah.
It's really good.
I'll get on that. Do you want to rate that so far, or are you going to give it a few weeks?
I'd have to give it a bit more time, but on first impressions, it's 5 out of 5.
Right, okay.
For me, because Street Fighter 5 came out and everybody hated it because they released just a duff game.
Well, I liked it. They hated it because it was so bare bones.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? There was barely any game in there, kind of thing. Basically a 1v1 online mode, and I think that was pretty much it.
Yeah, they haven't done anything like that on Tekken because they've got all the kinks ironed out over the arcade version for like the last.
All
2
the
years.
kings ironed out.
But yeah, like there's loads of content in it. It's not like Street Fighter 5 where they just released
a bare bones game. Yeah,
just the skeleton to a game.
Can I go off the back of that? I've been playing a bit of Ultra Street Fighter 2, the final challenges.
Has that just recently come out?
Yeah, last week on Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
It's literally a 25-year-old game.
Yeah.
Charging full price for it, which is a bit mad.
Sorry, is this a Nintendo Switch?
Nintendo Switch.
That's why they're charging full price on it.
Maybe.
Because that's... They sell like SNES games on there for full price.
Yeah, it's crazy. And Nintendo fanboys just, snap them up, don't they, kind of thing.
You've bought it. So.
Well... but yeah, it's still really good, though. That's the thing. It's 25 years old. The only difference, I think, is they put 2 new characters in and giving it some HD graphics. But you can't argue against it. It's a really good game. Really, still loads of fun to play. Just a game you probably played 25 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, I was playing King of Fighters 95 to 98. And like I said, they're still great games now, even though they're a bit old.
I think those 2D beat-em-ups, they never lose their appeal, kind of thing, because they're so technical. You know what I mean? They'll always have that appeal to a certain hardcore audience, kind of thing.
I think that's the advantage it has over the Tekken series in some cases, because if you go back and play Tekken 4 now, Tekken 4 was always the worst Tekken.
Yeah.
But right now it looks really dated.
Yeah.
And if you go even further back to Tekken 2, it just looks awful because it's a 3D.
I think that with all 3D fighters, they don't age as well as the original Mortal Kombats and Street Fighter.
I think it brings the argument up though with the way graphics are now. I don't think, because Tekken 7 is not a particularly amazing looking game or anything, but we're probably at a level where games now they'll still look good in 20 years.
Yeah.
Did you ever play Metal Gear 5?
See,
that looks amazing.
I don't totally agree with you on that. Like my point with that is that the reason Street Fighter 2 ages so well is there's a charm and an art to those graphics. Because they were 16-bit, they had to think about it artistically, like a kind of cartoon look to it almost. Whereas stuff nowadays is so like basically CGI, isn't it? You know, a lot of modern games that will always age badly. In 10 years, CGI looks so much better.
I've got to say, I agree with that.
There's no charm to it, you know what I mean? And no like, well, look, there is artistry to it, but whereas 16-bit games like Mario Kart, they still look good now because they've got a charm to the look of them. Does that make sense at all?
I agree with that. Like, I'm going to bring it on to like a sports game, like FIFA. I think like the current FIFA games, they don't look human. You look like you're running around in a character version because, they try and make them look as real as possible, but they just don't. There's something about like the graphics come so far that they've kind of like there's nothing real about it. It's just a cartoon version of it.
Whereas like people play the latest FIFA and go, oh, it looks amazing, so lifelike. But if you go back and play like FIFA 09, they were saying that in FIFA 09, but you look at that now and you think, oh god, like how bad does that look, kind of thing.
I'm sure I read an article about 16-bit art, and one of the sort of benefits to that is that because there's so little obviously there's loads of detail in it, but you can't physically get that much detail into it, so your imagination fills in the blanks. And so that's why people have a sort of nostalgic feel for these games, and why they are a sort of timeless art is because you fill in the gaps for it. So they've created art that you don't see, but you see it in your own head.
You fill in the blanks, kind of thing.
I think you look back on it and go, like, you're not expecting it to look real because it's that old, and sort of like you don't think, oh well, it doesn't look real, I don't like this. Whereas you can do that with the modern games, saying like, oh well, it doesn't look real when it should. You know that the old games, it shouldn't look real. It is just
there's a different mindset to it, kind of thing. Yeah. Can I just go for another point with that as well? Just something I've been thinking about like recently, that it's the same with films as well. Like old films from the 80s that have like stop motion effects and old effects, like Ghostbusters, for example. Slimer in that film doesn't look real, you know what I mean? There's a ghost for one. But it doesn't look real, but there's a charm to the way they've done it. It's like a weird kind of stop motion effect, Do you know what I'm referring to at all? And like the proton packs they have that they blast doesn't look real again. It looks like a cartoony yellow thing, but there's a charm to and an artistic look to it. You can tell that somebody's hand animated it almost. Do you know what I mean about that? Yeah. Whereas nowadays, because it's all CGI, there's no charm to it. In 10 years' time, it'll look like garbage. Whereas you can go back and watch the old Ghostbusters and think, yeah, it doesn't look real, it looks dated, but there's a charm to those effects. They look like handmade almost. Whereas now it all just looks like a computer. Did that make any sense to you at all?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
I get your point. Yeah. But I think that you're of that era, though, aren't you? Where
I don't think it's a case of that, though. I think it's just a case of back then, because they didn't have technical stuff like computer power to technically recreate something that looked photorealistic, they had to find other ways around of doing it. So they put their own certain charm into it. Whereas now, because they can do photorealistic stuff, they always do it, and it's just boring, and there's no charm to it, kind of thing. And
no, yeah, I agree with you. When I was saying it's your era, I didn't mean like, oh, I remember when this was all fields.
No, you mean like an 80s kind of people growing up in the 80s, like,
Well, people have different takes on aesthetic. Do you know what I mean? On how something should look. I agree with your points, though.
Yeah,
but yeah. Anything else?
Yeah, I've got a couple of things. Where are we up to? We've watched a TV show this week, The Leftovers. You guys heard of that at all?
No, you're saying you're going to watch this, though.
Yeah, I've not got a load to talk about it, really. Mike from work recommended it, so I thought I'd give it a go. Like 4 episodes in. It's written by Damon Lindelof, who did Lost, who wrote Prometheus. He's known for having these really twisty-turny kind of plots and films that he can't even explain himself. Like Lost, he almost like made it up as he went along, kind of thing.
Lost, definitely.
I love Lost. I absolutely love it, and I've rewatched it a couple of times.
Yeah.
And binge watching it makes a lot more sense than when it first came out. But you still just go, this is ridiculous. And the ending.
I think you'll agree with me on that, then. And like Lost, the hook of that show is the whole stuck on an island, you don't know what's going on. That's the hook of the show. And when you find out what it is, it's like, oh, that's rubbish. But that was never the point. The point is the hook, you know what I mean? Like, so it's kind of like, I don't care about how it ends up. All I care about is the original hook. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
it's rewatching it is still a really good TV show, I thought.
Yeah. And it's the same with The Leftovers. Right. Something like 170 million people have just disappeared off the face of the earth one day. And no one knows like what's happened. And the show picks up 3 years later and how people are dealing with it. Like family members have just vanished.
That sounds dead interesting.
And but in the show, people have theories. Like some people think it's the Rapture, so they have like this weird religious cults that spring up. Other people think it's aliens, stuff like that. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It's like 4 episodes in. We're on the 3rd series now, currently showing, so I'm way behind. But I'm going to try and catch up in the next couple of weeks.
So is it just like one set of cast with like the same opinions, or is it just like jumping from people?
It's basically one town. I think I couldn't tell you where it is. It's in the US, but Christopher Eccleston's in it.
Oh right, okay.
Justin Theroux is the main guy, like the police officer whose wife vanished, but there's some like weird thing going on there with the wife. And yes, it was like a town basically, and a few of the people in there were affected by it, and it's how they're dealing with it.
All right, okay.
And all the different dramas that spring up from that kind of thing. But yeah, really enjoying it. I'm looking forward to keeping going with it.
I might have to give it a watch.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I've been watching Prison Break season 4, which is
that's from the old series.
that's the old series. So I thought I'll watch that in time for the new series,
Okay.
which I failed at because I can't watch stuff
No.
like in time.
Fair. I tried to watch because I was about halfway through season 3. I was like, right, I'm gonna get on it. Watch one episode, and I was done.
Season 4 is just ridiculous, and I knew this going in, but rewatching it, I just don't know how it wasn't like just wrapped up earlier. I thought season 4 was quite a short season, because it was affected by the writer's strike when it first came out. Season 2 was a short series. Season 4 I thought was the same, but it wasn't, unfortunately. So it gets to a point around episode 12 where they kind of go, right, we seem to run out of storyline, and one character just seems to completely change, and it then adds this next 12 episodes. It's there's no reason for that change at all.
Can we spoil it? It's been 10 years now, hasn't it?
I feel like we can spoil the original series of Prison Break.
Break.
I don't think any of us have seen the new series.
I've not seen the new series.
I mean, I only watched the first 3 seasons, and then I was like, I think I dropped off halfway through season 3.
Season 3 is ridiculous as well.
Yeah. I know.
That's what I've done. I've dropped off halfway through season 3.
The quality of that show just absolutely dives. Every season gets so much worse.
Yeah.
Season 1's great.
Well, my theory about that is it's called Prison Break. Great when they're in the prison. Once they've done the prison break, it's like, what do we do?
Shouldn't be called Prison Break after
that. To be fair, season 2 weren't half bad. That was them pretty much running away from the law, basically.
Yeah, I remember liking season 2.
Season 2 was pretty decent, but then the third one, they just all right, now we need to put them in another prison so they can break out of that one.
They should just they should have just rebooted it and just had a completely different scenario and called it Prison Break season 5.
I mean, I think. Wait, what?
Is that what's happened?
That's exactly what's happened.
Sweet. I'm on board.
I was thinking more do season 2 again and call it Prison Broke.
So I rewatched it a few years ago as well. I agree. I always thought season 1, amazing, and then everything else is garbage. Season 2 is actually okay.
It is quite good.
So I do quite like, but season 4, I'm grinding through it. I do quite like it. But
you plan on watching the new series?
Yeah,
I that's got rave reviews. Every week, my brother's come in and told me
right, okay,
this next episode was amazing. It's just ended. I think it's just the finale's just aired.
Perfect. So I'll binge watch that.
Just a question for you guys. I mean, I've watched it 10 years ago, but there was one plot point where Sarah, is she called in it?
Yeah.
Her head turns up in a box.
This is
and they think she's dead. Is that season 4? That one? This is the one where it got really batshit crazy.
I think that's season 3.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Is it? I've not seen that, and I'm halfway through season 3. Maybe it's a bit further. To be fair,
I've not spoiled stuff.
Spoilers.
I thought that was season 3 because then they all think she's dead,
but then she's not.
And then she just turns up and it's oh
yeah.
Hiya.
But did they ever address actually what that head was in the box? Just a fake head?
I guess they just put a box over her, took a picture.
Right.
I don't know. I can't really remember.
That was the point when I thought, I'm not into this anymore.
I think with shows like that, shows in prison, the scenario is what sells it. So you could say jail cells.
Oh God.
Good night.
Drop the mic. I don't know even where we're going from there, Joe.
So I did. I just came in and went.
You've killed the show.
That was great, everyone. Thanks very much for listening. I'll see you next week.
All right. Should we move on from Prison Break?
Yeah, we went deeper in Prison Break than I thought we were going to. Though.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
But the other thing I've watched is Stranger Than Fiction with Will Ferrell. It's a film. Basically, I think it's probably one of my favourite films, and I was just scrolling through Netflix, and I couldn't not put it on. I just watched it there and then because it's one of my favourite films. Will Ferrell, he plays like a more serious role in this film rather than his like, kind of slapstick comedy, which I just don't find funny. Like, pretty much the only other film that he's in I like is Step Brothers. Anything else, Anchorman, I just don't find funny.
Oh,
sorry. Well, no, I'm not sorry. But
Anchorman's a 5-star film.
I couldn't get through it. It's enough. Anyway, Stranger Than Fiction, he plays like a serious role, but he obviously does his own spin on it and does make it funny. Essentially, he's living his life, and all of a sudden he hears a narration about his life and his work and everything like that. Only he can hear it, so he's baffled by this, obviously. But it's basically an author writing a book, but he's the main character, and at some point, that he's going to get killed off, but he obviously doesn't know when. So he tries to find the author and all that. It's got a good cast, like Emma Thompson is the author, Dustin Hoffman's in it, and Maggie Gyllenhaal is the love interest.
Oh yeah, was Dustin Hoffman his therapist or something?
Not a therapist, he's like a literature
right.
tutor
Right,
in a uni.
Literature.
Try to get through that.
Literature.
An expert in coffee.
You've been waiting for that in. Nobody goes see him, see whether he can find out about who the author would be. So, no, I really love the film and sort of like, I highly recommend it. I'd give it that would be a 5 out of 5 film.
Yeah.
Did he say it was on Netflix as well?
It is on Netflix. I think it must have been recently.
I remember liking it when I watched it. Like, it must have been like 10 years ago now when I seen it. But
I think it's really clever because the way they kill him off is like, you think they won't reveal it because they build it up and build it up to the most amazing way, because this is her masterpiece of a book. But it actually is quite poetic at the end, and sort of like you feel like you're just going to get let down, like a lot of films will. Like, just it'll build something up, build it up, and then you go, oh, is that it? But I feel like it actually does have like quite a poetic ending to it. And it's quite good. I wasn't disappointed.
like you mentioned, it seemed to be the phase where Will Ferrell was trying to be like doing this Jim Carrey phase of being a serious actor kind of thing.
Wait, can I, like, I'm not going to derail you too far, but we must talk about Jim Carrey every episode. Like, just in a positive light, in a negative light. Just he seems to just be on every episode.
Great guy.
Yeah, carry on.
Yeah.
That was a 2006 film, and I'm surprised it is that old. I didn't realise it was that old, but like around that time he did another film, which I'm trying to get up on my phone.
Preparation sound.
So it's on airplane mode.
Yeah, we'll come on to that.
Anyway, he did Step Brothers around the same time, but he did another film around the same time where he is playing another serious role, which ties into what you were saying about doing the Jim Carrey kind of serious role thing.
Yeah.
But then he goes back to doing like Anchorman reboots.
I remember he did like Bewitched, which wasn't a totally serious film, but it was more serious than what he was doing. Do you ever hear about that? The old TV show, they did a film version of it with Nicole Kidman.
Okay.
Where she's a witch and he's the husband kind of thing. But yeah, that was around about that phase where like he wasn't the goofy Will Ferrell you think, he was doing like a serious kind of Jim Carrey-esque.
I've remembered it, Everything Must Go, where he plays like an alcoholic.
Oh, I'm sure that's on Netflix as well.
That is on the... Well, it was a while ago. I watched it and I thought that was really good, and he was playing like another kind of serious role in that, but obviously again puts his own comedic twist on it. But he's playing like an alcoholic, and that deals with like serious issues, and sort of like I thought it came across really well, and sort of I enjoyed that as well.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's still on Netflix. Might not be.
Just to follow on from that, nothing to do with what Inman was mentioning there with our conversation, but I watched Ace Ventura this week.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with Jim Carrey at all. It wasn't as good as I remembered it being.
Which one's the first one?
Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, where the Miami Dolphins are involved. The dolphin has been stolen. He's got to find the Miami Dolphin, the mascot.
Is that the one? It's Ace Ventura 2, isn't it? Where he's in the rhino.
Yeah, When Nature Calls. Yeah,
that's right.
I've got that to watch as well. I've not watched that yet, but But it's still really funny though. I think we were talking about it in work the other week, Nick, weren't we?
I love Jim Carrey. I think his early work was amazing.
Oh yeah, I mean, this one for me is not up there with Liar Liar. That is like peak Jim Carrey for me.
Yeah.
But it is still really funny. There's great jokes in it and stuff. The whole like a glove,
Like a glove.
love all that. Oh, and the bit where he's talking to his police mate in the police station.
Sorry, his police mate in the police.
Talking to him
policeman mate.
out of his arse. It's like, I would like to ask you a question. That's great. But yeah, really enjoyed
Makes you
that.
think that, doesn't it? Do you reckon that was his?
Makes you think that.
do you reckon?
It's deep.
Do you reckon that was Jim Carrey's own like input into the film, or do you reckon,
I honestly
that was
think-
written into it?
I honestly think that film was literally Jim Carrey, do whatever you want.
I think that, you
we'll
know.
just film you. It does come across that way.
Yeah,
a lot
it
of it,
does,
like it's just
doesn't
him just messing about. But yeah, great film.
Yeah, amazing.
Sounds good. All right. You just picked up your ice cubes then.
Yeah, sorry.
Have you got anything more, or can I just do a bit of housekeeping and then we'll move on to Wonder Woman?
Just one quick thing, if that's okay.
It's always one quick thing with you, John.
Just one quick thing before the next quick thing.
Yeah.
On the Nintendo Switch, there's been like a free to download beta basically for a game called ARMS. Have you heard about this at all?
No.
Nintendo Switch exclusive game. I thought it looked like garbage. It's basically like a fighting game where you've got to hold the two Joy-Cons and punch with them, but you've got to like twist to like punch your arms around and stuff.
Okay.
You have like big like mechanical arms that fly out.
Yeah.
And it looked like garbage, but it's free to play last weekend and this weekend, like a big online beta test. I thought I'll give it a go. But it's actually like, it might be a bit one of those gimmick games, a bit like the Wii, you know, like it's motion controls and stuff, but I was well into it last weekend, played a load of it. Going to play more tomorrow as well. Comes out the middle of June, so I might look into picking that up. But anyone who's looking into playing the beta, you're too late because this will live on Tuesday and it'll have finished by then. So, so sorry about that.
You reminded me, like, talking about games then. I recently bought Return to Arkham, which is the remastered versions of Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, which I've never played, but apparently it's really highly rated. I think City's the best one in the trilogy, apparently. But yeah, I've been playing through them, and at first I was like, "Oh, this seems a bit odd. Like, I don't really fancy being in the asylum the whole game." But then you get to grips with it. Combat's amazing. I'm only on about the first one because I've not played City yet. But yeah, I really love that.
It's great, the first one.
It's you know the little appearances from like Killer Croc and Bane and stuff.
Yeah, you've got to go into the sewer of Arkham to fight Killer Croc.
That's
quite scary, that bit.
But I got a jump scare from Killer Croc because I went over to this door and I looked through it. I was like, well, something's going to jump out here. And then it did. And it still got me. And I was like, this is a Batman game and I'm jumping around.
I'm sure there were so much with the Joker in there that were pretty creepy as well in that game. Yeah.
I really love it. Really good.
I mean, I'm thinking about this like 2009 when I played it kind of thing, but have you come across any audio tapes yet from Dr. Harleen Quinzel?
Yes.
You kind of, you pick up the audio tapes, you can listen to them while you're playing the game. And you hear her progression, like starting off as a normal doctor, just going more and more mad as she's working with the Joker kind of thing.
Yeah, I've got a few of them. I've got some of the Jokers as well.
Yeah.
Do you be a few years since you last played it, but do you remember the whole sort of boss battle with Scarecrow?
That was scary.
Because I was playing with my headphones on, and you walk into a morgue, and you're on drugs at this point, but you don't realise. But you walk into the morgue, and all you can hear is "You shouldn't be here. You shouldn't be," like all that just over and over again, like all around you. So I had my headphones on, and I was like, "This is actually scary in here." And then you have this really strange dream battle sequence with like a 50-foot
giant scarecrow, and you're running around like trying to avoid his gaze and stuff.
I was like, this is dead good.
Yeah.
But no, I really am enjoying that game. So I'm trying to.
You'll like part 2 even more, to be honest. Like it's a lot more open part 2. Yeah, so you'll love that.
Yeah, not like I'm at the moment. I'm quite enjoying just staying in the asylum, even though I didn't think I would enjoy just staying in this like place that all the rooms are pretty similar looking. It's all the same corridors. Yeah, but I really like the Riddler stuff. I like as well. I like all that.
I collected I platinumed that game. I just loved it so much. And there's 100 like Riddler question marks to collect or something. I got all of them on the game. Yeah, I loved it. The loads of little nods in that game as well. You find like one cell which is devoted to Calendar Man, and it's like like ridiculous villains from the Batman universe. They're all in there in little bits, kind of thing.
Well, the first thing you see is like the Riddler's one. I know he becomes a sort of side part of the game anyway, but the Riddler, you start off the game and you come across Riddler's open cell within like 5 minutes. So you know it's his because it's got all these green question marks everywhere. So you know he's broke out.
Yeah.
But Yeah, all right. Are we done talking?
Yep.
Yeah, just a bit of housekeeping. I wanted to talk about the comic book episode, and I've got something else I want to do as well.
Yeah.
So, what are our thoughts on the comic book episode that we did last week? Because
I've just figured out where you're going with this.
no, I've got something after this.
Can I guess what it is?
You can guess.
Can I guess? You're still fuming about the Dark Knight not being number one. This is what this
No,
is.
no, like because if you look at it, like it's in 4 of the 5 people's top 5, so I'm quite happy with that.
Oh, but if it is that, I've got some bad news for you because Wonder Woman's number one. So it's bumped down even further.
Yeah, Nick was saying that you might have to rearrange.
I think I actually need to rejig my top 5 after watching.
I'll be honest, like as a first go, I think it was all right at a sort of long episode. I'm not doing another long episode like that again, though.
For a while or ever again?
Just, I think that episode's got some of our best stuff in it, but it's also got loads of tedious stuff in it. What we should have done was turned up with 20 films, not 50. We should have came in with 20 and went, let's rank these 20, not spend an hour at the start deciphering films that only one person's seen and seeing if they need to be in the top 20 list.
Oh no, that's cool. I mean, it's a learning curve, isn't it? You know, we
Yeah.
we learned live on the pod.
Yeah, that's like that show took about 4.5, 5 hours to actually record, and then I had to sit there for the full time editing that. And then when I was doing it when I was editing, and I got about an hour in, and all these phone signals started coming through, and I was genuinely devastated at that point because I was like, "This is the show ruined." But I mean, it didn't come off too badly in the end. But
No, I thought it was good.
I think the show was a good show, but.
I remember you coming in one day and you were shattered and you were just like,
You were devastated.
I was just
you're saying
like,
you spent like 12 hours editing. Like,
yeah, I felt burnt out on this show at that point. It's just like I was like, I'm gonna take this week off, but I didn't, and I'm here. But yeah, I have problems with the way that episode went. I've no problem whatsoever with the list.
Are we sure?
No, but it's just I don't know. I don't think we.
Like I say, it was the first go at that kind of mega episode.
Yeah, but this show gets too hectic sometimes, and I think we need to sort of slow
Dial
it
it
down
back
a
a
bit.
bit, kind of.
Yeah, I've told you off the show, but like if any listeners are listening to this now, do check out John and Nick's Twin Peaks show. It's a very relaxed atmosphere, and like I want that on this show, and I feel like we've had this episode. If I could get my words out.
It's a bit of a different setup because we come like loaded with notes for that Twin Peaks one. You know, we've literally got like point by point. I mean, you have to break it down.
We're
Don't
literally
you?
going scene for scene.
Yeah.
Thing. Like this is very much
Bit more loose.
It's a much looser show, isn't it? We're basically coming in and saying this is what we've done for the week, and this is a film we've watched.
Yeah.
It's obviously a completely different setup.
Yeah, I get that, but
I get what you're saying though. Like you want it to be much more relaxed, where we're all just having a chat.
make DSTE great again. That's what I'm trying to say. But
Hashtag make.
Just one thing I want to throw out there from the Twin Peaks podcast we did. We should have really mentioned this live on the air, but like we both come to the show with notes. And you've seen episode 3 of Twin Peaks, haven't you?
yeah, well, I've not seen 4 yet.
Starts off really mental when like he falls into this like purple ocean universe with a purple ocean. Like our notes were so funny comparing them. Like mine was like Dale falls into a purple box, and Nick's was like Dale lands in purple apartments. We were going through point by point, going what the?
Yeah, all right. Before we get onto Wonder Woman, and since we're talking about comics, I have prepared something this week. If we want to try this,
Let's try it, by all means.
so Nick, I've told you about this before the show. Sam,
quite
John, I'm
excited.
dropping this on you.
Yeah.
I basically went and looked at the history of like comics and found something that happened in a comic. And basically, I'm going to present to you 3 different statements from the comic world, and you've got to guess which one of these is real. Because I've made 2 of these.
okay.
Up. So I'm going to give you 3 little points, and you're going to tell me which one of them's true. Does that sound fun?
Yeah, I
Sounds
just want to
cool.
get me excuses out there. I don't know about comics, so
That's why, that's why Logan ended up at number 1.
Well, that's the fun of it, John.
Yeah.
I was a bit worried then that you'd be like, I'll know it anyway.
oh no, like I say,
Okay.
So that makes it even more fun.
I'm a feigning ignorance here. I'm not.
I think we need more games. So
Yeah, no, I'm
I've
up for
prepared
this.
one.
Defo.
So yeah, one of these 3 statements happened in the comic universe. Okay, I'll read them all out to you. So this is the first one. Superman goes back in time and teams up with Hitler for a short amount of time before turning on him. So that's point 1. Okay. Point 2. Daredevil throws a baby off a roof because of his Catholic upbringing, assuming he's found the Antichrist. Okay. That's point 2. Point 3. It is implied in one comic panel that Batman, Robin, and Catwoman attempt to have a threesome but do not go through with it. One of those 3 things happened in the comic universe.
Well, I've got my one down.
If you want to discuss it amongst yourselves,
Was it a big answer?
Well, I mean, you can all lock in different answers, but
I kind of feel like I'm going to go for one, but
how do you feel? Let's do it point by point, though.
Should we have a discussion about it before we go
Yes.
for it? Or
Yeah, let's make some content out of it.
By all means, you're welcome to go with your one in the end.
Yeah.
But like,
how do you feel about Superman going back in time to team up with Hitler and then turning on?
well, I think he did.
I'm leaning towards that one
Yeah, I
myself.
think that's what happened,
like
yeah.
that one's like
Yeah.
that
Yes,
one.
that's it.
I feel like I've either read that before or like I've imagined it.
I know that it was part of the film, but I'm pretty sure Captain America in the comics was involved in Nazis constantly. So
There's a comic where Captain America and Red Skull team up to go against Hitler. And then I think Red Skull turns on Captain America after that, obviously.
but yeah, I'm definitely going Superman. I just think the Nazi thing is.
I discussed the other 2.
I know,
So, yeah.
like Daredevil, like.
All right,
when you're saying that like blew my mind. But thinking about it, like it's not.
So the Daredevil point is Daredevil throws a baby off a roof because of his Catholic upbringing, assuming he's found the Antichrist.
I mean, that is a big thing of the comic, innit? The Catholic side of it. Set in Hell's Kitchen. Frank Miller did a lot of Daredevil, I think, so it's really dark. So
No, but it's throwing a baby on the roof, isn't it?
Yeah.
So like,
Well, it's like the whole baby Hitler question, isn't it? Would you go back and kill baby Hitler? Baby Adolf.
I'm not like, I don't want to completely dismiss it, but I don't think it's the one. Yeah, I don't know what about you, Sam.
Point 3, the threesome.
The free
Yeah, let me read.
potential
So yeah,
threesome.
one of these, I'll reread it. But one of these 3 is true. The last one was: it is implied in one comic panel that Batman, Robin, and Catwoman attempt to have a threesome, but do not go through with it.
I mean, that could be true
Now,
as well.
now this one's literally the most realistic one. But
Yeah.
with it being in the comic universe, I don't know if we want to go for the most realistic one.
There's some weird stuff, like, I put that picture on Twitter about Batman basically abusing a woman, and he tells her to be quiet or Papa spank.
Yeah.
The weirdest thing.
But
On
yeah,
that basis, I might go for point 3.
just bear in mind that the other 2 that have been like I've made up completely out of thin air.
Right.
So I'm trying to fool you.
Yeah, well,
I'm trying to catch you guys out.
the Nazi thing probably would be something you'd think up of.
Why? Oh, we're going back to the Watchmen episode. Again. Joe supports genocide.
I can imagine you trying to sway us with something like that. So that makes me think point 3.
Yeah, but at the same time, the baby Antichrist.
You're not going for that one.
I don't know. It's there, but it's a baby. Like, is it even allowed to portray a baby being thrown off a roof? Is that even legal?
I bet there's someone tearing their hair out listening to this going, I know the answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be quite funny, wouldn't it?
It's obviously 3.
Yeah, but then if like Daredevil is Marvel, so with the DC universe, you have that story, the Killing Joke one we spoke about earlier, where the Joker literally, like, the implied rape happens. Implied is the big word there because they've always said it's not, but you can read that and get the implication.
Yeah.
Would Marvel ever throw a baby off a roof?
See, like, I know they've had the darker
Yeah,
like comics, haven't they?
They've done some weird stuff down the years,
like-
haven't they?
What they call adult? They called them something different for a while, didn't they? When they went a bit darker.
Marvel is that.
Yeah,
I don't know. They had the Vertigo ones, which were DC.
yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think Marvel would. I'm
do
not
that.
going to say stoop, but but I don't.
I've got to admit, though, Frank Miller did do a lot of Daredevil, and he did like 300 and Sin City and stuff. So you know what I mean? He is like really dark kind of thing.
Yeah, I guess like it depends on the author, doesn't it? So I guess that there could be someone, like you say, Frank Miller, who has actually done something like that.
Yeah.
Like, if he would have said, I don't know, Batman had thrown something through, I'd probably be more inclined to believe that one. But I don't know. I feel like Daredevil's always had a bit more of a moral compass. I don't care who authors it. He's always supposed to have a bit more of a moral compass.
Yeah.
But then we've got what was the first one again?
The first one was Superman teams up with Hitler, and then Hitler. Then he sort of turns on Hitler
Now
because
that one's-
obviously Hitler's a bad person.
That one's a believable one. Superman, we know, can travel back in time.
Yeah.
And who wouldn't turn against Hitler in the end?
Oh, sorry. He travels back in time to fight Hitler.
Yeah.
Well, why?
No, I don't believe. I don't think. I thought it was like a period thing from the 1940s.
No, he travels back in time.
Oh well, I'm going with 3 then.
So why wouldn't you believe that one?
Because the Captain America stuff actually happened in the 40s when the
I
comic
know,
was being
but
written.
like we all know that Superman can travel back in time.
I just think it'd be a bit in bad taste to do it after everyone knew he'd killed 6 million Jews to have Superman team up with him for a bit. I didn't realise the time travel thing. I'm going to go 3. Do you know what I mean? At the time, I can kind of imagine it as a bit of propaganda, like almost that, you know.
Well, should we lock answers in? Nick, I'll come to you first. Which one of those 3 do you think is true?
I think John's just swayed me away from the first one, so I'm going to have to go for 3 then.
Oh.
So the implied threesome. That
The
never
implied threesome, yeah.
I'm the same. I'm going 3.
Oh, well, I'll, for the sake of interest, I'll go to number 1.
happened. So John, are you going for Superman
See-
teaming up with Hitler?
Yeah.
So you've swayed me away from that just to
myself
pick that answer. Thanks, John. It's going to be the right one now.
Well, I'll keep score. Like I'll maybe do this again in a week or 2.
Okay.
So yeah, you Nick and Sam, you've went for the threesome that didn't happen.
Yeah.
John, you've gone for Superman teaming up with Hitler.
I'm just going to point out that because he swayed me away from it, I feel this was a tactic, and that it is actually the first one now. But I'm still sticking with it.
I'll give you the true one of those. Daredevil throws a baby off a roof because of his Catholic upbringing, assuming he's found the Antichrist.
So we all got it wrong.
That's in bad taste. That.
So that's point for me. Because I fooled you. Yeah, so that was from a Kevin Smith.
Kevin Smith.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was from 1998.
Right.
It was an arc. The story arc for that was the Guardian Devil one, where basically Daredevil starts getting his beliefs and his religious sort of beliefs get challenged, and there's stuff going on with the devil and stuff. But
I've read before that like the Kevin Smith Daredevil comics, like they're very highly rated. Like the fans love his Daredevil comics.
I think they're more Marmite. I think some people hate it because
Well, Kevin Smith is Marmite. Like,
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Especially now.
If you're a fan of Kevin Smith, I think you'd like him. Like the comics, obviously. But do you know he did? The Batman ones.
Yeah.
Like me and Nick, we've spoke about don't spoil the end.
I've spoke about that.
I think me and Sammers as well. Like Tell 'em Steve Dave.
Yeah.
Like that's one of my podcasts that I listen to. Walt, who appears on that show, is the illustrator one of the illustrators for Kevin Smith's comics. So
I was going to bring him up, like Comic Book Man. The show.
he's on
'cause,
Comic
like,
Book Man. Yeah. No, but yeah, that was well, you all got it wrong, and I win. Daredevil, throws the baby off a roof.
That was
Right.
good.
On that point, let's move on to our film of the week. John, Nick, Wonder Woman. So John, Nick, you watched Wonder Woman this week.
Yeah.
I have trouble saying Wonder Woman. I can't.
Too many W's in it.
Wonder Woman.
Wonder
Woman.
So you've both watched Wonder this week. I've got a synopsis for you before we start.
Yeah.
Before she was Wonder Woman, oh my God, I can't say that word. Before she was Wonder Woman, she was Diana,
Princess of the
Princess
Amazonians.
of Wales.
Oh.
Wales.
I'll start that again.
I think you should start the whole fucking
The whole thing.
section
Yeah.
Before she was
I think we should start the whole thing.
I
again.
just think you should start again saying Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman. I'm gonna leave some of this in. I'll edit it together so it doesn't sound too shit. Wonder Woman.
Question mark after that.
Wonder Woman. Sorry, right, no, I'll get it right this time. Right. Wonder Woman. Before she was Wonder Woman, she was Diana, Princess of the Amazons, trained warrior. When a pilot crashes and tells of conflict in the outside world, she leaves home to fight a war to end all wars, discovering her full powers and true destiny. So, there's a synopsis for you.
Sounds good.
John, Nick, you've both seen it. Like, I'm quite interested to see what you think about it. Because before you start, I read the first review I read gave this film 2 out of 5 stars. That was in The Guardian, right? Now, obviously, everyone has different opinions on films. But then, as I've seen the real review, can't even say the word reviews anymore. As the Wonder Woman reviews rolled in, see, guys,
That was impressive.
as they rolled in, more and more positive reviews came out.
Yeah.
And it's on like an 80% sort of rating across the board on all the critic websites.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, just to start, I don't know what idiot it works at The Guardian.
I think it's Peter Bradshaw. I mean, they're quite.
it might not be for this one.
Yeah. Don't quote me on that piece. They are quite
but
high-minded at The Guardian.
That is a really low rating for this film.
I don't get it.
That does not even deserve a 2 out of 5 at all.
I don't get it at all.
We went in the cinema last night, didn't we? And I think we all said it afterwards. Like we've not been to a film where we've not been able to take our eyes off the film in so long. Like, I was so engaged with this film for the entire. Was it 2 hours and 20 minutes?
I think so. Yeah, I couldn't
And,
tell you.
For that entire time, I was just fixated on the screen. I didn't care about anything else. I just wanted to watch this because it was amazing. It really was.
Don't show my hand too early, but I loved it as well. I thought it was great. Like I said, that 2-star review, it is weird because like The Guardian are usually quite spot on, but I feel like with this one they're the only outlier. You know, everybody else has loved it, and The Guardian's.
I did read another one which was a similar review.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a minority that are saying it's not.
Can I just
not
ask,
the
like,
best.
did it say any more than just a star?
Yeah, it had a review attached with the
Did you
star
read the
rating.
review?
I read a lot of it.
Like, what was their down points for the film?
I don't want you to quote me on it, so I'm not
That's
gonna-
fair enough. But like every bit of the film was just really engaging. Like Gal Gadot was amazing. Gal Gadot.
Gal Gadot.
One point the Guardian raised is that it seemed as if you can't seem to have a female superhero like film, or you can obviously, but you can't have one without also having a strong male lead as well. Like you always need a strong male. They weren't making the point that you need that, but this film has that, and it's like it's just an added part that you don't necessarily need.
I really feel like he was great in it, Chris Pine, to be fair, but like I think Gal Gadot overshadowed him like tenfold.
Yeah, I mean, like going off that point, John made that. I do understand what they're getting at, but not in relation to this film. I understand in general. You know, they usually say like, you know, you can't just have a female carrying the film. You've got to throw in like the love interest. But the good thing about this film is it feels like Wonder Woman is the star of the show, and Chris Pine is almost like the afterthought of a love interest. You know, kind of like how the flip side is you'll have like a female love interest who's just in the background. That's what he's like in this film to me. See, you know what I mean? Like
the Guardian were pretty much arguing that he wasn't needed for the film. Like, it's like
that's
I'm not.
an
I know
interesting
you're.
point.
Yeah. Like,
I completely disagree. Like,
yeah,
because we're not going to spoil the film here for people who've not seen it, but there's some pivotal stuff with him in it that plays into her character. You know what I mean? It's all about her, but without him, she wouldn't be the character she is, kind of thing. So.
Right.
So I think the Guardian might have been a bit off the base with that one, but
possibly. Well, like, again, it's just one person's opinion.
Yeah,
I feel they spent far too much time looking down at the notepad than actually watching the film.
Yeah. Well,
that's just my opinion.
But let's go through it. What did you think of like the story and stuff? Because I've heard it's from the other stuff I've read, it seems to have a strong story.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I mean, my thought watching it was, I know, Nick, you don't like Man of Steel, but I quite like it.
No, I don't think I've ever said that.
I'm sure last week you said it was, that
might
was garbage. Or
I
something.
don't know. I didn't mind Man of Steel.
Sorry, I thought you didn't like it, but...
Come on, John, explain why you don't like Man of Steel.
Oh, no, I love it. I love Man of Steel, but not as much as Wonder Woman. But the plot of that is very similar to Wonder Woman, I think. You start with Superman in that, on his home planet, a completely different culture, and it's similar with this one, where you start with Wonder Woman on the island of, I don't know these names, Themyscira or something.
It's a weird name.
Yeah.
The island of the Amazons.
Yeah,
anyway.
island of Amazons, hidden from like the world. And you get to see their culture and her growing up, becoming, you know, the warrior she is, kind of thing. And Chris Pine from World War I turns up on the island and brings an entire like navy load of German soldiers with him, which kicks off the whole battle, which launches Wonder Woman into World War One.
Which I loved all those battles between like the Amazons when they were fighting.
Yeah.
Like that was really amazing to watch.
Yeah, I loved it.
Like it was just like beautifully shot. Like all the women like doing all these flips and everything, and like shooting bows like upside down off horses.
One negative I read, the action's in like fits and starts. So it's like you start getting into the action, then it ends to just do some plot that you don't need.
Oh, right. I mean,
That's what I'd read.
I've got to admit, that's one of my strong points for the film. I love the action in it, but it's more traditional action. A lot of it, it's very just shot, not like Michael Bay. The camera's not flicking all over the place. It's shot very just traditionally, single camera, just staying still and just showing you what's going on, kind of thing. So it is a lot more. That's my whole thing for the film. It feels more like an old adventure film, like Indiana Jones, than like modern blockbuster kind of thing, which I love. I love that about it.
One of my favourite scenes in the film was like, I'm pretty sure like anyone who's read anything about this film, like you'll know it's basically set in World War II, isn't it?
One.
Is it one? Sorry.
I could be wrong. I thought it was World War One.
No, you're probably right, to be honest. No, to be fair, no, it's on no man's land, so it will be,
Yeah.
wouldn't it? That's my bad. It's saying World War One. And one of my favourite scenes is when Wonder Woman's going across no man's land. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I won't spoil anything that happens in it, but like that scene was phenomenal. It
Yeah.
really was.
It's great. She joins the war, and everyone's telling me it's no man's land. Literally, no man can cross, kind of thing. And she's like, "No, I'm doing it." Just goes on her own.
She's
kind
like,
of thing.
no man, but I'm not a man. she doesn't say that.
I was going to say, is there a strong feminism thread through the film?
Oh well, I mean,
I mean, I wouldn't say so, no, at all, because like
Yeah.
the whole way through, like the comedy, it's based on like everyone being like fucking so in love with her.
Because bear in mind, like this is the only superhero who's ever been a UN ambassador. Like,
I mean, is that
no other superhero has ever been a real life UN ambassador, even though she's not a real person.
no other ones who took up that career option. So
Yeah, I mean, they did take her off it, but
but on that point though, I never, not once really, did I think about that watching the film. I never thought, they're pushing the feminist agenda, that kind of thing.
No, I didn't watch.
I'm finding it quite patronising. Like Mark Kermode's been away this week. I'm sorry to keep name dropping Mark Kermode, but I just listened to his reviews to see. I'm interested to see what he thinks about things. Robbie Collin was filling in for him this week, and in a 6-minute review of the film, he spends the first 3 minutes talking about how it's such an important film for because it's directed by Patty Jenkins. It's the biggest budget for a female directed film ever. It's going to become the biggest female box office film ever.
I'd say she's the biggest female superhero going.
And so, like, there's a big. He spent half of the review talking about how, like, what a big deal it was for
wasn't
females
needed.
in cinema, and it just feels patronising to me. Like, I didn't think about it once watching the film.
I didn't.
I think that's that. You'd get onto a bigger debate about feminism there, though.
Yeah.
It's like it is just. It's time gets spent talking about stuff that isn't.
I mean, I definitely agree that it is a good thing for females in cinema, but to spend half a review just talking about that, I kind of feel like talk about the film. You know what I mean? Tell us what the film is.
It's an overkill.
Yeah. But yeah, going on from like some points that Nick made, the visual comedy in the film, we've spoke before about me not liking the comedy in Guardians and stuff like that. This is the kind of comedy I like, where, just an example, there's a bit in the trailer where she's dressed up in like a full like secretarial like costume, with a hat on and stuff, but she's still carrying around her sword and shield everywhere with her, trying to get through like revolving doors with them. She can't fit anywhere.
Yeah.
It's just, it's really funny to watch. Like these kind of like fish out of water comedy cues, and that's the kind of comedy I like. That I find funny. And there's loads of stuff like that in this film.
And on the back of that, like some films, they try and overdo the comedy like far too much. It was not overdone at all. Like it was a bit of comedy, but like not too much at all.
See,
yeah.
I'm going off the trailer again. Like that's the only thing I've seen. There's a lot of comedy in the trailer, so I was thinking, are they going to play on that a lot in the film? But if they don't, I don't think
they played on it like too much anyway. Like it was just right, the amount of comedy.
When they put it in there, it just works perfectly, doesn't it? Yeah.
There's a lot of one-liners in the trailer.
If anything, a lot of things I think have been cut down a bit for the film. There was a lot of comedy with the secretary, Etta something, the other female secretary. And I'm sure there was stuff in the trailer that wasn't in the film, like of her just bumbling around being funny and stuff. It just wasn't a big part of the film at all.
I mean, maybe it'll be in like a extended edition.
Yeah, some kind of ultimate cut or something.
But like I thought it worked perfectly, all of it.
Yeah.
In the film, like, because there's that scene, wasn't there, with that there's a female character, like a female German. This won't be any spoiler for any major plot, but there's a female character, and she's like wearing this dress, and Wonder Woman wants to basically infiltrate a place by going into this gala ball. And sees this girl in this dress, and she's just eyeing her up and down, and like, while this person's like, you're all right, kind of thing. and it's just funny to watch. That's all it is. It's just a bit funny to watch.
Yeah, just visual humour again. Just the way she walks over and just like sizes her up.
Yeah.
The woman's like, "What are you doing?" Then it just cuts to her in the gala wearing the dress.
In the dress, yeah. That was funny to me. I thought that was really good.
That was great. Really well done. Just going back to a couple of points you made before, Nick. I mentioned that it's like a proper like old style adventure film to me. It feels a bit like Indiana Jones, that kind of thing. I love the fact that I love fantasy films, and I mentioned to you guys before that I love films set in like world wars and stuff, which is why I kind of like Captain America, the first one. And I just love the fact in this film you've got like this whole fantasy thing going on where you've got the island of Amazonians with swords and shield, and they go up against like a boatload of Germans who wash up on shore with guns. You know, it's just such a cool like. They're fighting them with bow and arrow and shield, and they've got like, semi-automatic rifles fighting them. It's just a really cool dynamic, that mixing fantasy with like a war genre. It's just a really cool look, I think.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
And again, the No Man's Land thing when she's walking over No Man's Land, taking on bullets and stuff just with a shield and a sword. It's it's great.
Just question: Wonder Woman is immortal.
I don't know about this. You see.
Well,
I've heard she is.
Oh, sorry.
you do know about this.
Sorry, yeah.
But that would be a spoiler.
Yeah.
All right, I was going to say, why does she need the shield? But
it's a bit of a spoiler.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there is a reason that she's got the shield. It's not just.
Well, I don't know.
Cool.
Yeah, is that it? Like that's.
Yeah. I don't want to ruin any of the film.
We won't go down that rabbit hole today.
Yeah.
Let's say nothing. Yeah.
Another point for me was the special effects. I think you said it yourself, John. Like they just worked the special effects, didn't they?
Yeah, I think I mentioned to you about they're not technically amazing or anything, but again they fit in with the whole adventure look of it. They have like weird effects where there's a little baby Wonder Woman at the start running around training, like just running around the island, and she's jumping off like ledges and stuff, and the effects are a bit weird and dated, like she's jumping and the camera focuses on her and shows you the background going whoa behind her, but it works for the look of the film, the adventure feeling they're going for. I'd much rather have that than like a CG baby Wonder Woman bouncing around everywhere. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, even again, it just fits into the look of the film, and everything they do like that in the film works for me. All the effects. Yeah. Just got a few other points. So just mark off baby Wonder Woman. Covered that.
Cross that off.
And the other thing, like the main feeling of the film, is that it's a bit of a fish out of water thing, a bit like the first Thor, but a lot better done, I think, in this one. And the character is just really naive and earnest about things, like she can't understand why men are at war, that kind of thing. And it just works perfectly in the film. Like it gives it an emotional kind of grounding almost, that Chris Pine's telling her, look, this is war, this is what men do, and she just cannot understand it. And she thinks she can solve everything. And that's part of the appeal of the character, isn't it? She just goes into no man's land just to go and solve it kind of thing. That was a big deal for me. The character of Wonder Woman in this, I found it quite emotional, some of it like that.
No, it really was. It was quite an emotional film at times.
Going back to the Logan thing, I found that emotional. This is on a level with that for me. Our number one film, Logan, by the way, in the comic book manifesto.
Yep.
Yeah. Just one other thing I want to mention, the director, Patty Jenkins. I've not actually seen any of her stuff. Have you guys watched any of her stuff at all?
What has she done?
Do you know anything that she's
Well,
done?
the biggest thing she has done is a film called Monster, which is a biopic of Eileen Wuornos, I think, who's like a real-life female serial killer.
All right.
Charlize Theron played her.
I've never seen it.
And it's meant to be great. It's like about 10, 15 years old now, but I'm going to check that out now. I didn't realise she did it, to be honest.
I've heard of it. I've not seen it.
She did a great job with this film, really well handled. So yeah, I'm going to check out some of the other stuff as well. Yep. Have you guys got anything more?
I mean, my only final point is like it has a fantastic cast as well. Gal Gadot, like she was absolutely amazing.
I thought she was a highlight of the Dawn of Justice. I thought she was a really good part of that.
And like that's actually a separate point. Actually, that the music. When do you know when she comes into Batman versus Superman, like you might be able to
like Amazonian guitar riff that plays when she turns up.
It's like very matching to that character, isn't it?
Yeah,
and
fits her perfectly.
like you said beforehand, I'm a bit worried. I don't think this is going to play in the film.
Well, yeah, the reason is it's Hans Zimmer who did BBS, which is like an amazing composer, does loads of great stuff. Somebody different in this film. And I listened to a few of the tracks on iTunes and I thought, they're not going to put, because it's Hans Zimmer, they won't be able to get the rights for it or whatever.
But like, it did come in like at a point in the film. I mean, me and John actually turned to each other and like probably smiled like,
yes.
like during that, because like it was like a pinnacle point in the film. So
This awesome action scene after she gets over no man's land in Belgium, and that kicks in. You're like, oh yeah, that's amazing.
Like I was saying, the cast is amazing. Obviously, it's got Chris Pine. Gal Gadot was amazing.
Oh yeah, and Spud from Trainspotting.
Yeah, that's Spud from Trainspotting, and he was quite good in it.
He was good. It was really funny. Comic relief and stuff. Yeah,
and I don't know what else. I don't know what his name is, but he's Professor Lupin from Harry Potter.
I think I'm totally guessing here. David Thewlis, I think he's called.
Is that his name?
It could be. I could be wrong on that, but I'm just chucking it out.
But
there,
he's in there as well as a character. I'm not going to spoil anything for anyone, but he's a character. It's a great film. Like my only downfall, like it's not even a big downfall at all. It's like the tiniest point ever. There's this one scene at the beginning, this little conversation between two characters, and it felt to me very robotic. And it was a like what about a 5-second conversation.
Yeah,
and like, I was watching. Oh, that's a bit wrong. But like apart from that,
minor.
It's very minor point.
How does Wonder Woman fit into the current DC world then? So, you know, this new film series they're doing.
This film was obviously based in World War One, as I stated before.
Yeah. I was going to say, is this similar to Captain America 1, where it's an origin story
it is
set well apart from everything else, but she does appear, obviously.
I mean, it does kind of put it into that world by at the beginning it's got a letter from Bruce Wayne, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's like a framing narrative to it where you pick up in modern day, don't you, at the start with her, and then you flash back.
It's essentially like she's remembering. Basically, it's a letter from Bruce Wayne, like with a picture from the film, saying like, "Oh, maybe one day you'll tell me the story," and it's essentially like as if she's remembering that story.
Is that photo the one that you see in
it's the
Dawn
one
of
that
Justice?
Bruce Wayne has on his computer. Yeah.
So it's her with a bunch of people in war gear.
That's the one. Yeah. And like she's seeing that, and then it kind of flashes back to her being a child, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it does bring it into the universe by her being in contact with Bruce Wayne, but apart from that, there's no other contact with DCEU.
I've only got another couple of quick things. You mentioned casting as well. I love Robin Wright, who played Antiope, I think she's called.
Antiope.
Who's like who's the warrior, like sister of the Queen of the Amazonians.
Essentially,
trains
Wonder
everyone.
Woman's auntie, wasn't it?
Yeah, she trains everyone to fight and stuff. But she was like Jenny from Forrest Gump. Yeah. She was the princess from Princess Bride. And in the show now, House of Cards, she's the wife of Kevin Spacey in that. And she's great, and she's great in this as well.
She was amazing, isn't it? Yeah.
She was in the trailer for Justice League as well, so she'll be turning back up in that in a few months as well.
Were there any cameos at all from any other DC characters?
No, like I say, it was set very far in the past, so like 100 years in the past, so it's probably not likely to have any cameos, but. And I think we have stated before, if anyone's interested, there's no after credit scene. If anyone's listening to this and fancies going to watch,
I'm surprised by that because I
don't know, it's much more of a Marvel thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, because like the DC films have all had after credit scenes.
Christopher Nolan's one don't.
But you can't count them in the.
Are you
current...
talking about the DCEU films? So like Man of Steel.
I don't think Man of Steel did.
See, I didn't think they did, to be honest.
That was a Nolan thing that he produced that film, and he said, it's got a quote somewhere if you Google it. He says like real films don't have end credit scenes. He's got a thing about it that he just won't have it, kind of thing. Okay. So, but then
Dawn of Justice did have one.
He wasn't involved with Suicide Squad or
Christopher Nolan that important in terms of the new Batman. Sorry, the new DC.
I don't think he has.
Oh, he's not anymore. He was at the time. He was like overseeing Man of Steel. But then after that, he just went, get rid of it. Call this quits.
He made his mark.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, just one final point as well. The thing that brings down Man of Steel for me is the big end battle at the end when he fights General Zod. Turns into a big CGI mess, just like destroying the entire city. And I hate that kind of big CGI. I mentioned in Guardians, I hate it when it just turns into the fighting a planet at the end, that kind of thing. And I was a bit worried in this one, it was going down that route, but they handle it really well. And I honestly haven't got a bad thing to say about the film. Not one thing in the film I can have a pop at. Everything worked perfectly.
no, you've both got shining reviews of this film.
Yeah.
Like, I'm quite surprised it seems to be doing this well, to be honest, because I was expecting another bungled DC film, because I feel like the entire DC thing at the moment is just getting completely
messed
bungled.
up.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I personally quite enjoyed pretty much most of the DCU films.
I enjoyed them, but they could be.
But
10
this
times
one,
better.
one has gone a completely different level. It's
Yeah.
way above the rest.
This is the standout film. Like,
It is the standout film. It is amazing.
Yeah.
This film.
which I'm surprised that Wonder Woman has got
that
to this level though, because I know Wonder Woman's one of the main ones with like Superman, Batman, but she's not the main out of those three. She's the character free out of those top two DC people.
I mean, I'd even go as far as to. I know Inman doesn't care for the comic book film, but I'd even go as far as to recommend this to Inman.
Yeah, I think you'd love this.
Yeah, I mean, everything that you're saying sounds really good. And yeah, like you said, I'm not a big comic book movie fan. But the trailer, I was really impressed by the trailer and sort of like, yeah, it seems like this is more leaning towards something I definitely want to go watch.
Yeah, I think
It's definitely a recommend, like even for you. Like, I'm not a comic book film fan, so
Cool.
Just one final point as well, with it being Patty Jenkins who directed it. If I was like Warner Bros. And DC now, I'd be like, forget Joss Whedon, forget David Ayer, forget Ben Affleck, get Patty Jenkins tied down for some more films, because she's the only one so far who's knocked it out of the park, kind of thing, in terms of delivering a 5-star film. Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, I was just going to get to this. Should we?
Let's jump on the rating. John, what are you giving the film?
Well, I'm not sure, to be honest. It's a 5. Yeah.
You give it a straight up 5
Straight
stars.
5 stars. Yeah.
Nick?
Oh wait, Inman, what do you rate the trailer?
The trailer. Seeing as it's a comic book movie, I'm going to give it 4.5 because it was
that's a good
really
rate.
tempting me to go watch it.
It's
That's
an
a good rate
ongoing
for a trailer,
feature,
that.
this. An ongoing feature of what's Sam's rating of a film trailer.
Sam's trailers.
Nick, let's come to you.
I mean, this might be the first film that has got an all-round 5-star rating from everyone who's actually seen the film.
It might be.
Because I'm giving this a 5-star review.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
surprised, but
And just to mention, we watched it with Jono and Dom as well, and I think it's safe to say they'll both give it 5 stars as well.
And I know Dom's not the biggest fan of comic book films, so it's an all-round great film.
question. Did you enjoy this film more than Logan?
I was just thinking that the first time I watched Logan, I wouldn't have given it 5 stars. It was like a 4 or 4.5. This is straight 5 stars.
Nick?
I don't.
Because
See, I don't even think I'd give Logan a 5-star film rating, though. To be fair, I loved Logan. I absolutely like. There's a reason it was at the top of our top 5. I fought tooth and nail for that.
yeah, we all loved that.
But this probably shoots straight up there.
Yeah.
So in your personal top 5 lists, where would this fall?
I don't know. It's too soon.
Too soon.
Yeah.
I think this is recency bias. Hang on. I'm not disregarding anything we've said, but I'm saying that if you sit back and think about this film and come back to it in a month, would you still give it 5 stars? That's the big question.
I definitely would.
Yeah.
The way I think about
so.
it, yeah.
I think if I watched it again, I'd give it a higher rating.
Yeah.
if there was an option to do so.
Yeah.
I'm sure I gave 6 stars to Dark Knight. So
Yeah. I mean, I've seen Logan 3 times, I think, now, but it wasn't a 5-star film the first time I watched it. It took 2 or 3 viewings to get to a 5-star film, which I think it is. But this for me is straight away. I can't think of anything negative about it. Like, there's
But
nothing
like
wrong
I
with
said,
it.
that one little tiny point was my only downfall for this film.
yeah.
And that it's not even worth mentioning, to be honest.
Yeah.
Can't wait till episode 16 where JT just absolutely slates the film.
I've watched it again on Blu-ray. I'm just not liking it.
All right. Well, should we finish off there?
Yeah, sounds good.
Do we want to give out our Twitter handles or?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't saying just end the show then. Yeah, all right. Well, the main show Twitter is at DSTE Podcast. My personal Twitter is it's Joe. YHITSJOE.
My Twitter is at DSTE Nick. NICK.
My Twitter's at Rubik's Football. That's a different side project. But for your drone stuff out there, I've got a new video on YouTube. If you want
I've
to
seen
check
it.
that
It's
out.
good. It's good.
Thanks. Just Sam Inman. That's my YouTube account if you want to go have a look at that.
Jumping all over your plug.
That's all right.
Yeah, if you're a fan of football, your Twitter becomes it's dormant most of the time, but it'll reappear at the major international tournaments if you like.
Yeah, this time next year I'll be kicking off. What is it? World Cup Russia.
Oh yeah.
This time next year I'll be kicking something. What's happening? What's going on in football?
So check back in June 2018. Can I just mention on that actually? We are planning on doing a football podcast at some point, aren't we?
At some day.
Well, I was thinking maybe in the summer do like a trial one.
Yeah.
See how it goes.
I mean, I'm up for it, but
Before the new season.
I can barely handle doing this, so this is too much fucking time. So
Yeah, but I think Inman's on about taking the lead on that one anyway.
Yeah, I'll
aren't
try
you?
and-
So
yeah,
Take the
sweet,
slack on that.
cool.
give it a trial go in the summer. Yeah.
I'm well up for this.
Yeah,
The Champions League final tonight.
Champions League final.
We all pulling for Juventus. Yeah.
I'm pulling for Juve, but I've bet on Madrid with Jono. I've got a £5 bet on with
you?
Jono. So Madrid.
John, do you want to give your Twitter up?
Yep, at Taylor1980. Yep.
Cool. All right. Well, I've enjoyed the show this week. It's been a good one. We should be back next week.
Yep.
Might not be, but we not permanently. We will be back. But yeah, we will be back soon. What film were we thinking of doing for the next show?
Up in the air in the moment.
Was it?
Sorry, not up in the air, not that film. It's still up in the air at the moment, but me and Nick are on about maybe if I'm still here next weekend watching The Mummy.
Are you
If
got
I'm
like a
still with
disease
us.
or something?
Yeah, if I'm still alive next week. We're on
If I'm still breathing next week.
we're on about doing The Mummy, maybe.
Yeah,
Another new
sounds good.
release. Yeah.
Sounds good. Got E3 coming up soon, which I'm looking forward to. But we should do a special.
Yeah.
Basically, it runs from like Tuesday to Friday.
Friday.
I can't remember,
So
but
it's that like not next Tuesday, the Tuesday after.
yeah.
So I'll be in Krakow.
Yes, you won't
for
be
that
here
one.
for that one. Yes.
I'll be getting robbed like Inman did.
Yeah. I'm just gonna get the exact date that ends because that ends on a Friday.
I mean, I'm away at the Thursday, so I'll be off for that particular podcast.
Yeah.
In 2 weeks on the Saturday, E3 will have ended the day before, so we can do a bit of a rundown, keep an eye on what's going on, and pick out some stuff we want to talk about
highlights.
for it. Do a bit of an E3 special.
Sounds good.
See if there's anything good. But yeah, thanks guys.
Cheers,
Yeah.
Joe.
Cheers.
Thanks for having me on.
All right, okay. Well, cheers. We'll talk to you soon.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Like Daredevil is DC,
Marvel.
Marvel. That one. We've got two
Just gonna
DC
edit that
and a
out.
Marvel one.
Yeah.
Daredevil is Marvel.